Good morning, respected dignitaries and delegates. I am Mrs. Paras Savalia, Assistant Professor, Dinsa Patel College of Nursing, Nadia. Welcomes you all in this webinar organized by IQAC and Obstetric and Gynecological Nursing Department. There was a time before 1990 when the umbilical cord and its blood were considered medical waste. Today, parents bank or store their baby's umbilical cord blood because of stem cells. Stem cells are special cells with the amazing ability to transform it to any tissue or organ in the body with the potential to cure 80 approved life-threatening diseases. Babies' preserved cord blood or stem cells may provide numerous benefits to the baby, its siblings, and even to the family members. To enhance our knowledge in this topic, cord blood banking, we are glad to have an eminent personality in the nursing profession, Mrs. Manisha-ben Modi. Before Madam comment her expert talk, we will have some glimpse of her career in nursing profession. Madam has completed General Nursing and Midwifery in 1990, Post-Basic BSc Nursing in 1999, MSc Nursing with OBG Specialty in 2012. Madam has also passed CGFNS and NCLEX RN exam. Madam has a huge experience from 1990 in academic as well as in clinical side for various designations such as staff nurse, nursing tutor, and currently Madam is associate professor at AMC Met Nursing College, SET VS General Hospital, Ahmedabad. Madam has published books such as Midwifery Nursing and Midwifery Nursing Casebook. She has published various research articles in various research journals and also published paper at various conferences. Madam has also organized and attended more than 20 conferences, seminars, and workshops. Madam is a member of various professional bodies like TNI, SOMI, Nurses Educators Association of Gujarat. We feel blessed with you, ma'am, as an expert. Now I request ma'am for expert talk.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the platform regarding the latest topic, that is cord blood banking.
Yes.
First, I would like to say thanks to Dinsa Patel College of Nursing Management, Principal and HOD of the OBC department to share this topic in front of you. Now, first, in the divine presence of Lord Swaminarayan and equally presence of my Guru Pramukh Swamiji Maharaj and Mahan Swamiji Maharaj, I will try my best to share this information regarding the cord blood banking in front of you. So first, as Paras Madam has explained about the some brief information about the cord blood banking. So it is a we can say it is a one type of bank, like in the general bank we save our money, and whenever we require this money in the future we will retrieve this money from the bank. Similarly, same process here, that is a cord blood banking. Now we try to understand the one by one steps. So what is the origin of the cord blood bank? Even today, after the delivery of the baby, we cut the umbilical cord and we discard this cord in the dustbin. But some research in this side regarding the stem cell transplantation, the awareness about the cord stem cells preservation is increasing day by day. So cord blood was considered a waste product and was discarded with the placenta after delivery. With the advances in medicine, it has been found to be it is a rich source of life-saving hematopoietic cells. It has saved many lives in the recent decades. Over the past 2 decades, cord blood has been approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration for the treatment of over 80 diseases, with more therapies added every year. Because research regarding the stem cell transplantation in all over the world are increasing. So first, we understand what is the cord blood banking. Cord blood banking, it is also known as the stem cell banking. It is a process of collecting the cord blood, and after that is extracting and cryogenically freezing its stem cells and other cells of the immune system for the potential future medical use. Now the cord blood bank, it is a facility which stores umbilical cord blood for the future use. Both private as well as public cord blood banks have developed in response to the potential for cord blood bank in treating various disease conditions like blood disorders, immune system disorders, and many more disorders in the future. So one question arises in our mind, that is why cord blood banking is necessary, because without reason we cannot do anything. Similarly, cord blood bank, it is the blood that remains in the placenta after the delivery. Yet on near term, there is a maternal fetal transfers of the cell to boost the immune system of the both the mother as well as in the baby for the preparation of the labor. So that time the stem cells of the baby are strongest for the immunity. This makes cord blood at the time of delivery. It is a rich source of the stem cells and other cells of the immune system. Now we try. That is, what is the stem cells? So first we have to understand the stem. For example, stem is a one part of the tree. So all the like branches, leaves, fruits are flourished from the stems. So if we have the strong stem cells, or that automatically all the cells which are grows uh, in a different types of cells from the stem cells. So basically stem cells are the undifferentiated cells, and the differentiated in the various types of cells when they grow and mature. Basically two types of stem cells, that is hematopoietic stem cells, and secondly the mesenchymal cells. Again, hematopoietic cells are further divided into RBC, that is red blood cells, white blood cells, as well as the platelets. White blood cells are further divided. We can say that they are the fight against the various types of the disease condition like T lymphocyte, basophils, neutrophils, as well as the monocytes. Now, what is a hematopoietic cells? Hematopoietic means the synthesis of the different types of the cells, blood cells like RBC, WBC, and the platelets. They have the good property of the self-renewal, as well as the ability to differentiate in the myeloid as well as lymphoid cell lineage. DNA in these cells have a longer telomere length, which helps in long-time hematopoiesis. Here, the longer telomere length, it is very necessary to grow into different types of the cells, because the original contents of the cells are not affected if they have a long telomere length. Now, so what is the mesenchymal stem cells? They are also known as bone marrow cells. Typically, they are found in the bone marrow. They can be extracted from the cord blood as well as the cord itself. A cord itself means the cord tissues are also valuable things for the research. Many banks are now offering the both cord blood collection as well as the cord tissue they preserve to access the patients for the multiple stem cell types. When transplanted into the body, mesenchymal cells can create the different type of bone cells, cartilage cells, as well as the fat cells. Now, first, what is the major functions of the stem cells? Three major, here we try to remember the three R, that is repair, rejuvenate, and replace. What is the repair? Whenever our body cells are damaged by that time stem cells have the ability, they can repair any damaged cells. Apart from that, they rejuvenate cells. Means, for example, in the myocardial infarction, the cells are damaged. That time, after the transplantation of the stem cells, the damaged cells are rejuvenate, means that they further becomes strong. Moreover, they can replace any damaged cells. So they have the three types of ability: repair, rejuvenate, and as well as replace. Now, one question arises in our mind is how cord blood banking works. So that is a measure the 5 steps of the cord blood banking procedures. Umbilical cord blood can be collected from the placenta during the third stage of the labor, means after the delivery of the baby to the delivery of the placenta. This process does not pose any risk to the mother or the baby. because here we cannot disturb the mother or the baby because we have to collect the blood from the placental side cord. So umbilical cord blood is collected from the umbilical vein into the sterile closed system collection bag containing an anticoagulant solution. Means whenever you register your name to the cord blood bank, that time they give a whole kit. Inside the kit, there is all the things are available. That is collection bag. So blood from the placenta flows through the cord by gravity into the collection bag, which is placed lower. So due to the gravity, the all blood of the cords which collected in the collection bag. Then the mother blood is also collected during this process because a mother's blood is checked for the communicable disease. If they have the communicable disease like HIV or hepatitis C or B, so this blood is not useful for the future preservation. Now there is a loss of the blood volume and cell count during the whole process. I will share one video, and with the help of this video, we try to understand the whole process practically, which way the whole cord blood collection system. First,
We
that
don't
is
know.
Simple 5-step process, and this is how it happens. First step for umbilical cord blood banking is to sign up for the service a few weeks before your delivery date. It helps to sign up with a trustworthy company. Once you enroll, you'll be handed an umbilical cord collection kit. Keep your doctor informed about the decision and make sure that you carry the kit with you as you leave to the hospital for delivery. The collection process is a simple 10-minute procedure and poses no harm to either the mother or baby.
Cellugen's cord blood collection kit contains all the materials a physician needs to collect the newborn's cord blood and tissue. First, collect the mother's blood in the provided Vacutainer tubes. Store the tubes safely in the biohazard bag provided in the kit. Prepare the cord blood collection bag by properly filling in the details on the kit label and paste it on the bag. After delivery, double clamp and cut the newborn's umbilical cord. Clean at least 4 to 6 inches with the disinfectant provided in the kit. Close the white clamp on the cord blood collection bag tubing to maintain a closed collection system. Cautiously remove the needle cover by twisting and pulling it upwards from its base. Insert the needle in the umbilical cord vein. Open the clamp on the collection bag tubing to start the blood flow. Keep the collection bag below the umbilical cord to assist blood collection by gravity. Once the blood stops flowing, clamp the umbilical cord a bit above the puncture using the scissor grip A-clamps provided in the kit. Reinsert the needle above the clamp and collect as much blood as possible. Once the blood flow stops at this location, repeat the above steps and reinsert the needle at the base of the placenta to collect as much blood as possible. It's important to note, all through the collection process, shake the bag side to side gently to facilitate mixing of the collected blood with the anticoagulant. Once the collection is complete, immediately pull the needle cover over the needle. Squeeze any remaining blood in the tube into the collection bag by pinching and pulling back with your fingers. Pull back the white clamp on the collection bag tubing to the base and engage it. Tie 2 knots tightly over the tubing above the white clamp. Cut away the excess tubing along with the needle and dispose properly. Cut as much section of the umbilical cord as possible. Pinch and run your finger 2 or 3 times to drain any excess blood. Rinse the exterior of the umbilical cord section using saline or isotonic solution provided in the kit. Avoid water, ethanol-based solutions, and alcohol prep bands. Pat dry the specimen and store in the specimen container provided in the kit. Put back the maternal blood samples, umbilical cord blood collection bag, and the umbilical cord specimen container in the box. Put the cool gel pack over the contents to maintain optimum temperature. Fill in the quick reference card provided with the proper details and put it in the box. Close the box and secure pack it with the adhesive tape provided.
Once the sample is handed to our personalized courier service, the collection kit is shipped by the next immediate flight with special instructions to avoid X-ray scan. The sample is picked up through logistics concierge service immediately on arrival at the airport and delivered safely. As soon as the lab receives the collection kit, the samples are individually checked into our laboratory software and then taken for processing. The stem cells in the blood are extracted by adding a chemical and spun at high speeds to separate the various components. The middle layer contains the stem cells, which are transferred to a special freezing bag. The stem cells from the tissue are extracted by mincing the tissue into smaller portions, liquefied by adding an enzyme, and transferred to special cryovials. The processed stem cell units are mixed with cryopreservatives to ensure long-term preservation. Using a special type of freezer, stem cells are slowly frozen to an ultra-cold temperature of -196 degrees centigrade. The multi-layer power backup systems and liquid nitrogen ensure uninterrupted cryopreservation of your baby's precious stem cells for decades. A preservation certificate is sent for your records.
Now, here we already understand the which way blood collection banks are working. There are basic 5 steps we have understand with the help of video. First one is the enrollment. Second one is a collection of the cord blood. Third one is the transportation of the cord blood. Here one things keep in mind, it is not passed from the scanner. Fourth one is the whole the process, how to preserve the cord blood. And fifth one is preservation of the cord blood. So first, the pregnant women have to inform the cord blood banking for the cord blood collection process. So mostly the before the 1 month of the delivery, that is around 80 to 30 weeks of the pregnancy. Then the cord blood bank has given the kit to the mother. At the time of delivery, they give the kit with them, and they give the obstetrician. After the baby is born, is taken away from the mother, and the cord is cut and cleaned. The bag will have to reach the collection to the transportation collection to the original blood bank. So within a 48 hours, it will reach to the storage. The stem cells are harvested from the cord blood and finally stored -196 degrees centigrade temperature. They are the special refrigerator are available to preserve the stem cells. So now that is one point is added in these slides, that is how to extract it. So here the 80% HLA match is to be made. So what is the HLA? HLA means a human leukocyte antigen. They are the specialized protein which are they boost up the immune system. Like simply we try to understand whenever we give blood transfusions to one person to another person, that time we have to match the blood group as well as the Rh factor. Here for the stem cell transplantation, especially the HLA is matched. So it requires only the 80% HLA. Meanwhile, the patient is register and to the cord stem cell banking, and patient has given the chemotherapy as well as radiation therapy to reject the chances of the graft versus host disease. After that, the stem cells transplanted into patient's body via the intravenous injection, and further it takes around 3 to 4 weeks time to grow these types of stem cells in the patient's body. So here the whole process are described regarding the collection, how to process the cord blood banking, and which way the recipient they extract the cord stem cell from the bank. Now the CBV related concerns. that is cord blood banking, some concerns are there. The entire procedure must be performed properly. Trained and qualified personnel in a well-equipped laboratory to minimize the microbial contamination of the unit and loss of viability of the stem cells. Here, the infection prevention is very important because if the stem cells are infected, they cannot be used in the further. After thawing, these products can be transplanted into the host after they have the received conditioning regimen for the transplant. As the stem cell count of the product is correlated with the outcome of the future transplantation, it might be tempting for the bankers to increase the product volume by early cord clamping to collect the more cord blood. However, this is an unethical practice as delayed cord clamping has a positive effect on the hematological status of the infant. As we know, that is one of the new trends of the obstetrics and the midwifery, that is delayed cord clamping. So what is a delayed cord clamping? Means after the stopping the pulsation of the arterial blood of the umbilical cord, we can cut the umbilical cord. So because of that, the fetus can get the maximum blood after the cutting the cord, as well as the good iron storage. So here this concept we will keep in mind while collection of the cord blood. So here we have to maintain the delayed cord clamping trends also. Now, the cord blood collection should not change the routine practice of the umbilical cord clamping. So, the cord blood collection is not advisable in complicated delivery like the twin gestation or the premature delivery, or the because this type of cord blood is not useful for the future. Apart from that, also umbilical cord blood units may not meet the established criteria for the storage due to the insufficient volume, delayed processing, or high stem cell count. If the volume is not sufficient, like minimum volume is a 60 ml, so less than that, it is not useful for the to getting the enough stem cells. Apart from the delayed process, if the process is more delayed, the umbilical cord blood is clotted, so it is not useful to retrieve the cord stem cells. There is no documented benefits of banking the placenta tissues or the Wharton jelly. So here this is not considering the mind. The placenta tissues or Wharton jellies are not preserved. Only what preserved? The cord blood as well as the cord tissue. Now, we cannot do anything without the advantages. Similarly, there are some advantages of the cord blood bank cord blood preservation. Those cells are known to suppress the response of the graft versus host species and has naive T cells with minimal recognition of the foreign antigen. Because whenever we implant or the implantation of the stem cells, that time easily our body cannot accept because it is a one type of foreign body. But basically the cord stem cells have that are not affected and that are undifferentiated cells, so they can easily accepted by the recipient. Apart from this property of the cord blood cells have been successfully exploited in the treatment of various malignant diseases, hematological diseases, storage disorders by using umbilical cord blood as a source of stem cells in HSCT. VSP can be cryopreserved and stored for more than 15 years with the efficient recovery of the stem cells at thawing. Like here the figure is given. So it is useful in the blood diseases like leukemia, different types of cancers, immune system disorders like systemic lupus erythematosus, rheumatoid arthritis, different type of metabolic disorders, solid tumors, as well as a bone marrow failure. So as I have said earlier, it has been treating for the more than 80 diseases, different type of diseases for the useful. Now it is a lifesaver because it saves the life of many people. Baby stem cells are lifesavers for the entire family, not only for the baby, but it is useful for the entire family. And even though I said that it is useful for the whole world, they have the 100% match with themselves, 50% match with the parents, and 25% match with the siblings. Moreover, it has a high acceptance rate because stem cells are the young and unexposed to the external environment, because at the time of delivery, these are stem cells are the pure. It is unaffected by the external environment, so it is less infectious and less infected. So it is easily acceptable by the recipient body. More about the future of emerging research, because research in, as I have said, that is research are increasing day by day around the world regarding the treating the incurable disease condition, even the diabetes. Basically, we all understand the diabetes is only the we can control, but is incurable disease. Autism. So this type of disease are also will be treated with these magical cells. But we can say that every coin has two sides, like pros and cons. Similarly, for the stem cell transplantation, some are the limitation. The first one is it has a disadvantages of the cord blood is that it does not contain many stem cells. Units of cellular donors can be combined to increase the number of stem cells if a transplant is needed for an adult, because adult requires more stem cells. Here we try to make some collection of the cord blood stem cells, because even though it is a decrease, it is in the decrease in number. So whenever the adult person requires the stem cells, so at that time they banks gives a collection of the cellular donors to fulfill the needs of the recipient. So the lack of availability of the subsequent donation of the stem cells and the lymphocytes from the graft donor, resulting in graft failure or the disease relapse. What sometimes the chances of the graft failure are also there, because it is not easy that every time the recipient easily accept the stem cells of the donor. Sometimes the chances of the graft failure as well as disease relapse means this disease is occurring in the future also. So these are the some limitation, or the we can say the disadvantages of the stem cell transplanted. But even though some points we are keeping considering, that is safety and effectiveness issue. Using the on cord blood cells might not be wise or effective, especially in the cases of childhood cancers and leukemia. Children who develop the immunological disorders often are unable to use their on cord blood cells for the transplant, because the blood also contains the same genetic defects. What I say here, this type of cord blood cells, even they useful in the same child. So it is already the same stem cells which are in the child's body. So it has the genetic defect. So it will be not useful in the future, even though it will aggravate the condition of the child. So another safety issue is there. The possible contamination of the cord blood unit with the same cancer diagnosed later in life. For example, the abnormal cells have been detected in filters containing newborn blood of the children who were not diagnosed with acute leukemia until the age of 2 to 6 years. The high relapse rates after the autologous transplant, and it would not be ideal source of the stem cells for the patient with the leukemia needing a transplant. So same condition here, it will be not useful for the autologous transplant. So that is one question. That is, what is autologous transplant? Autologous transplants mean the same stem cells are useful for the same child, not another person's stem cells. So here we will keep in mind that the childhood leukemia, sometimes it is not diagnosed till the age of 2 to 6 years. But these stem cells have the same genetic defect or the leukemic cells. So it will be not useful for the autologous transplantation. Now that is one question. That is, what is the criteria for the donor eligibility test? Because donor had a certain eligibility to donate their baby stem cell. First one is an informed consent, because it is a legal requirement. Because for legal issue, it is requirement the parents have to consent form sign to donate their stem cells of the baby to the bank. Next one is that the absence of the family history of the inherited disease conditions and a negative history of the hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV or another communicable diseases. Like these diseases are spread by the blood. So if the family history of this type of diseases, so these stem cells are not useful for the future. Next is the obstetric criteria. The gestation period is more than 34 weeks. Why? The stem cells are immature, so it will be not useful. Second is the rupture of membrane is less than 12 hours. What happened here? When the membrane rupture, so already the birth canal is open. So bacteria can easily transmit into the birth canal, and it will create the ascending infection in the birth canal. So it is infected by the outer environment. So these stem cells are not useful. Apart from that, mother is free from any infection like the fever at the time of delivery, or the absence and fetus or the baby is the absence or free from any congenital abnormalities, because these stem cells have the genetic defect. So these are the criteria for the donors to donate their stem cells. Now the stem cells and cord blood banking. This is a relation between the two things. Over 1 million units are stored in the private banks, with another 5 lakhs registered in the public facilities around the world. The major choices for the cord blood bankings, mainly the 3 types of cord blood bankings is available. First one is a private banking, second one is public banking, and third one is the direct donation bank. Now the private banking. Private banking gives a parents exclusive access to their child's stem cells. As long as annual fee is paid, only the family will have access to these cells and can use them in any future medical treatment. So private means you can use the stem cells for your child or your siblings or your family, not for the general public. So for that private banking, you have to charge as annual or the total whole years. Now the public banking. Public bank, which means the family donates their child stem cells to a registry. Their child stem cells to a stem cells, that is a small chance the family can use these cells. Any doctors or patients can take them if needed. Researcher may also use the donating stem cells for the clinical trials and experimental treatment. So what happened here? These stem cells are preserved. It is not useful for only your family, but it is open access for the worldwide. So national as well as the international levels, you can use the stem cells for the general public, for the scientists, for the new research. So public cord banking is store cord bloods for allogenic transplantation. So what is allogenic transplantation means? The recipient and donor are totally different. It is known as allogenic transplantation. They do not charge to store cord blood. So public bank is totally free from any charges to preserve your baby's cord blood stem cells. Now the public banking, donors to public banking must be screened for blood or immune system disorders and other problems. With the cord blood donation, the mother's blood is tested for the genetic disorders and infection, and the cord blood is also tested for is collected. Once it arrives at the cord blood bank, the blood is typed. It's tracked by computer so that it can be found quickly for any person who matches when needed. So all the system is based on the computer tracking system. Now the direct donation banks are a combination of the public as well as private banking. They store the cord blood for the public use as well as they can also reserve the cord blood for your family. So no fees charged. So these are the 3 types of cord blood banks are available. Now that time we are remember that is which type of stem cell bankings are available in the India. Yes, both the type of bank are available in India. The first stem cell transplantation in the world in 1988, but the cord blood banks came to India in 1990. It started first time in the Cancer Research Institute in Mumbai. In India, storing the cord blood cells for 18 to 21 years around, and approximately the charges from 70,000 to 80,000 rupees to preserve the cord blood and the cord tissues. Different type of banks are available for the future use. In India, there are 4 public cord blood banks and more than 5 private blood banks are available at present. Public cord blood banking is the need of the hour, yet has not to be flourished in our country because the awareness regarding the stem cell preservation is still lacking in the community. So now that is why we understand the cord blood bank or the cord blood banking process, why this is a need as a nurses in our syllabus. Because the role of the nurses is great, because the nurses is a pioneer to understand the process, and the nurses will bring the awareness among the community regarding the different topic. So similarly, nurses are the most important cog in the entire machinery that deals with the stem cell banking, may it be the collecting the cord blood or the assisting a doctor in the stem cell infusion procedure. Means nurses have the role for the collection as well as for the retrieving the stem cells for the recipient. Moreover, nurses can also play a large role in counseling the patient, because we can say the nurses is also the counselor who wish to receive the more information about the cord blood banking and how to undergo the whole process, especially if they are admitted to a birthing facility where their gynecologist or obstetrician may not be present to oversee the cord blood collection. Now it is one of the trends that is midwife can also do the normal delivery. So that time the obstetrician are not available. So the midwifery can complete the whole process. They collect the cord blood, correct the cord tissue, and send to the bank. So it is requirement of our nurses to gain the knowledge regarding this whole process. More significantly, they can help save precious time right after the birth by conducting the cord blood collection process by themselves in the absence of a doctor. So because not all the time of doctors are available for the collection of the cord blood. So nurses, here the nurses role is very important because a delayed cord collection, it is not useful for the main purpose. Now the IAP means Indian Academy of Pediatrics, some consensus given for the cord blood banking in India. So umbilical cord blood, it is a resource of the hematopoietic stem cells which have been successfully used for the curing various conditions, including malignancy as other hematological conditions, immunodeficiency disorders, and inherited many metabolic disorders. Umbilical cord blood has been safely collected from the placenta without any risk to the baby and the mother in an otherwise uncomplicated delivery. Cord blood collection is not advisable in complicated delivery because the time is very precious to save the mother or the baby. So it is not advisable for the complicated delivery. Now the public cord banking serves the actual purpose of the preservation, which provides cord blood cells for the patients lacking matched siblings donor and matched unrelated donors in need of the hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. So here what happens? The IAP means Indian Academy of Pediatrics strongly prefer, as well as ACOG means American Obstetrician and Gynecologists also prefer the public cord banking system because they are useful for the whole community. Autologous cord blood stores privately cannot be used for treating one's genetic conditions in the future. Apart from that, the cord stem cells harbor the genetic abnormality leading to the diseases. So it is not useful for the same child because they have the same genetic defect. Next one, the cord blood bank storage is not indicated for the autologous stem cell transplantation. Public cord banking should be promoted, which expands the treatment options for patients suffering from the certain diseases, illnesses. In India, with high birth rate, we can say India is the second populous country around the world. So due to the high birth rate and diverse genetic pool, has a bright prospects in the public cord blood banking to increase the chances to finding a different type of HLA matched hematopoietic stem cells for the transplantation. On the other side, private cord blood banking is not a biological insurance, and its role in regenerative medicine is very little because all the time the family is not needed in the future. The family will not have a need to get the stem cells for the particular disease condition. So it will be totally wasted in the private bank. Private cord blood bank is recommended only if there is an existing family member, siblings, or the biological parents who is currently suffering from the disease condition, and they will be benefited by the allogenic stem cell transplantation because siblings or the parents have the type of HLA easily matched with the siblings or the parents. So that time private blood banking is useful for the family. Moreover, it is imperative to spread awareness about the myths and facts about the cord blood banking among the public, like private as well as public, by mass campaign and among the healthcare workers by including this subject in undergraduate academic curriculum. So as you know, that is in the GNM as well as a BSc these subjects, that is cord blood banking, it is not included in the syllabus. But it is a need of our current scenario. This topic will be included in the future. Now, the advertisement for the private cord blood banking by companies. When you research or you search in the Google, that time different types of cord blood banking videos are available, but they will be given by they are given by the private companies. So easily public can misleading and exploit parents' emotion for the profit, and this is a vulnerable period of the malignancy. Now I will try to summarize the whole topic. What is cord blood banking procedure? First, the expecting mother, they have to give the permission to the cord blood banking for the collection of the cord blood. Second one is entering the agreement system. After that, they then give the cord blood collection kit. Maternity ward, the mother along with this kit, and after the delivery of the child, the child's cord will be cut, and the collection of the cord blood from the placental side cord, and this will be storage in the vacuity, which I have already visualized in the video. After that, within 48 hours, the blood is reached to the storage bank. And after that, the isolation of the stem cells, in the bank, we can say that it will be done by the centrifuge machines, and this will be after that it will be storage at the rate of -190 degrees 6 degrees centigrade temperature with the help of cryopreservation method. So this is the whole process regarding the cord blood banking, which I have summarized. Now, thank you everybody. And if you have a question regarding the stem cells preservation or the cord blood banking process and the role of nurse, this forum will be open for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this informative session. And now delegates are requested to ask question and write your question in chat box if you have any question.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. One question is there. What is graft versus host disease, ma'am?
Yes, it is a very good question. Graft versus host disease. Graft versus host disease, it is one of the type of, we can say it is not a disease, but whenever we implant any organ or the stem cells from the recipient, from the donor to the recipient, that time our body cannot easily accept these stem cells or the implantation, like a valve replacement or the any orthopedic surgery, there is some implant. So that time our body will identify as a foreign cells. What happened in the graft versus host disease? So that time our body fight against this foreign body. So it is known as the graft versus host disease. But what happened in these stem cells transplantation? Stem cells are the nail. So they are the undifferentiated. So they are not easily rejected by the recipient. So this is one of the great benefit for the future transplantation. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Another question is there, ma'am. In India, where there are a public cord blood bank?
Yes, it is a very good question, because there are major 4 types of public banks are available in India. First one is Tamil Nadu. That is Tamil Nadu's stem cell banking, as well as in the Mumbai, that is Reliance. It will be operated by the Reliance Industries. Third one is the Ahmedabad itself, and fourth one is the Chennai. In Ahmedabad, the Apollo Hospital, there is a stem cell banking are available for the public use.
Okay. Another question is there. If mother is COVID-19 positive, then it is possible to collect her cord blood as a storage for storage.
Yes, it is a very good question. So, as I have said earlier, mother has to be free from any infectious disease. So if mother is suffering from the COVID-19 condition, that time she will not give the cord, she will not try to their blood, baby's blood for the collection. So
Yes,
any
sir.
communicable disease will not permissible for the mother to donate the baby's cord blood.
Yes, priorly you have already told that priorly we check mother blood
Yes,
for
yes.
an infection and everything.
Okay.
And other question is there, ma'am, that how many maximum and minimum amount is required for storage?
Yes, yes, I have said the minimum amount is 60 ml blood is required to get the sufficient for stem cells in the future.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for your live interactive session. And now the time for vote of thanks. I take this opportunity to thank everyone for agreeing and attending this webinar on cord blood banking organized by IQAC and Department of Obstetric and Gynecological Nursing, Dinsa Patel College of Nursing, Nadiyad. First, I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to our today's resource person, Mrs. Manisha Ben Modi, Associate Professor, AMC Met Nursing College, St. VS Hospital, General Hospital, Ahmedabad. Madam, we are very thankful to you for your valuable time and remarkable sharing of your knowledge, ma'am. And thank you
It's
very
my
much.
pleasure. It's my pleasure also. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. I thank Director Sir, Principal Sir, Faculties of Obstetric and Gynecological Nursing Department, and Mr. Kailas Nagar Sir for technical support. I thank all the delegates for your participation. You all will get e-certificate within 3 days. So thank you everyone once again.